Hi, I'm Calvin Chu. I'm a third year biosci major here at UCI. And I've actually been doing music since actually, I don't even remember how long. Since I was a little kid, basically. I was one of those, those Asian kids that, started piano when they were really young. So I don't even remember when I started, but that's how I started, like with piano. And I didn't actually start doing anything else music related until about middle school. That's where I picked up violin and I joined the school orchestra, and that was pretty cool. And I was one of those really dorky orchestra kids, but I thought it was really cool at the time. And then I went on to high school, and in my second year of high school, that's when I actually started picking up more instruments. That's when I started getting into like all the other orchestra instruments and teaching myself how to sing, how to play guitar, eventually leading on to all the other instruments that I play. Alright, so actually, I came to college before I was a freshman. Like, technically, I came during the summer before my freshman year in a program called FSSP. It was Freshman Summer Start Program at UCI. And it was really cool, like, I brought my guitar, and me and my homies, we would just jam. And I remember we had a talent show that me and one of my other friends, Anthony Pham, we actually performed together. And I guess that kind of really started my music career a little bit in college. Once I hit freshman year, I really started getting into recording again. I actually brought like a lot of my equipment, and it was kind of hard because I lived in a triple in Middle Earth, and like our dorm rooms are really small in Middle Earth. Like Middle Earth's one of the housing communities at UCI, and like we lived in a triple. So me and my two other roommates, like we were all like, oh, we were so like packed, and like we didn't have that much space because like one of my other roommates, he was also in band, so he had his trombone. And then one of my other roommates, who's my cousin, he had his piano, I think, or maybe one of us had a piano. And I mean, it was good. Like, it was really cozy. Didn't have much space, but we made do it. We made do with what we have. And freshman year, I really got into performing more, and I think I ended up performing maybe like about like 30 times freshman year. One of the biggest highlights for me my freshman year was iPair. My housing community had a talent show called iPair. I still don't know what it stands for, but yeah, we had a talent show, and I performed two of my original songs, and it was really cool. I think that was really the first time that my music was heard by like a wide audience. I think it was probably about 300-ish people. That was pretty cool. It kind of got me out of my comfort zone a little bit, start getting more used to performing in front of bigger audiences. Um, and I guess that really led into my second year. The summer before my second year of college, I actually talked with one of my great friends, Nathan Jilla, who's now my manager actually. Um, and we were just talking about like my music stuff, where I wanted to go, and I thought about it a lot, prayed about it a lot, and the more I thought about it, the more I realized that like I feel like this is really what I was made to do. Even though at first it was really difficult performing in front of a crowd, like after doing it a lot, like it seems so natural. Like sharing myself with other people through music, like it's I don't know, it's that connection. And like when people like come up to me and talk to me and say like, oh dude, I can relate to that song so much, like that I think that's what makes performing worth it. To write songs that people can connect to, um, that's just that is 100% what I want. So my second year, like once my second year started, I actually ended up performing a lot more. I think in the whole of my second year, I did about 50 to 60 performances. Um, yeah, it's kind of a lot during the school year. And I actually competed in UCI's first annual Solstice, which is like a UCI college-wide talent show, I guess. Yeah, I think that was like another really huge stepping stone for me because performing in front of over 1,000 people, that's huge, and I performed one of my original songs, and I think a lot of people really liked it, and that's when I first started growing a lot, especially as an artist at UCI. Um, After that, I started getting a lot of other gigs. I performed at Ways Goose, which is like one of the big like celebrate UCI events. I ended up performing at the House of Blues in Hollywood the summer right after. They asked me to do a mini concert for them, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, just performing around all over. Um, I would say probably Solstice was the beginning of like my huge like music takeoff, I guess. So a lot of people actually ask me how I write songs, and I never really know what to tell them because like, um, all of my songs are usually written really differently. Um, Sometimes I actually hear the whole thing in my head like with lyrics, so like I'll write the all the music, all the instruments and stuff while writing the words at the same time, and those actually usually tend to be like my best songs because I think it's just like in the thought creative process like just happens at the same time it's meant to work out. Um, Sometimes like there'll be something that I want to write about, like for instance, one of my songs in my album We Are the Chosen, um, that song I actually had the ideas behind it a long time ago. Like I really wanted to write it, some like a song that's about a person who's really like trying to find where he belongs, only to realize that it doesn't matter where he goes, like as long as he has like Jesus with him, you know. Um, I've had that idea for a long time, but I didn't actually write it until like maybe I would say January, maybe December of 2012, January of 2013, during winter break basically. Um, I don't know, like that's one of the ways. I guess that's probably the most common ways because I feel like there's always things to talk about. There's always things to write about, and I think the difference between like me and like some artists, for example, is what we choose to write about. Um, and I guess like another way that I write is like writing music first and then lyrics after, but I feel like that's probably rare. If anything, it's more rare than me writing music and lyrics at the same time. Just because, like, I mean, you can write music, but, like, writing lyrics to fit the music is, like, um, I don't know. To me, like, it kind of makes sense, but it's not, like, the ideal. So, usually, most of the songs I start with writing the lyrics first or, like, having ideas first. Um, yeah, that's pretty much how I write songs. I mean, sometimes I'll just be like, I'll just be jamming on my guitar and be like, oh, and all of a sudden I'll think of like a random really cool like line or something or a really cool rhyme, and then I'll be like, oh, I should keep that, but then that's only like two lines of a song that doesn't exist. So, um, I don't know, just stuff happens. Like as you start like playing or practicing a lot more, like things just like start coming to you. You start getting those like creative juices flowing. Um, and I think actually, going back to what I said earlier about writing music and lyrics at the same time, I think the most time those occur are actually when I'm in times of worship, which is kind of funny, I guess. Like, for example, I'll be at my Christian ministry, Mas Motis. Like, we'll be like worshiping and stuff, and then like all of a sudden I'll have like this like inspiration, like, oh my gosh, I need to write this down. This is so great. And I'm like, oh, I don't have anything to write on. And if I take out my phone, the brightness will distract everybody. So I'll just like grab a pen or something. I'll just like write on my arm. I'm probably gonna get like skin cancer or something. But um, yeah, I think a lot of my songs are actually inspired like during worship, which is pretty funny. Um, Instruments. Throughout the years, I've actually picked up a lot of instruments. I mean, I'm not necessarily that great at any of them, but like for me, I really love music and I really love the different voices of music. So, especially after orchestra, I started like learning a lot of different like instruments. Like, well, I started with like violin, viola, cello, um, the huge giant string bass, but that's kind of too inconvenient to lug around. Um, I started like trying to learn band instruments like saxophone, clarinet. Um, I'm trying to teach myself trumpet right now, but it's really hard. I don't know how trumpetists do it. Like it's amazing. Also doing like guitar, playing guitar. Like it made sense to try electric bass, which is a lot easier than the full-on giant bass. Playing drum set is pretty fun, and piano since really young. Um, I mean, I guess I picked up a lot of instruments throughout the years, but I don't know. It never occurred to me that it was something that was like really difficult. Cause like for me, like my goal when learning a new instrument, it's not to like be the best at that instrument, you know. Cause obviously like there's people who've practiced that instrument for like years. You know, I'm never gonna be like as good as them, but like I just want to be able to appreciate it and like if I'm good enough, maybe incorporate it into my music. So in some of my tracks in the album, you can actually hear me playing like cello and viola, violin. I play drum set in my own songs, some piano. Like you just hear me playing all the other instruments, and like you'll notice that like they're not necessarily like they're not always that complex, the parts. But I think for me as like a songwriter, as a sound engineer, as a producer, like it's really cool when I can record all the parts myself and like really put it together and like really see like, oh, this is where I've come, you know, like all those years of like, you know, just like learning different things, like from different experiences, learning different instruments, putting it all together, like it's a lot of fun. And yeah, I feel like each instrument that I've learned, like it's a little special, you know. Each one is like a different voice of me, you know. Like whenever I pick up like my viola for example, it's like, oh man, this is my viola. This is what my voice is gonna be like, or not my like my vocal voice, but like my musical voice. And it's just like it's a different tone depending on which instrument I use. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think my favorite instrument, huh. I think my favorite instrument probably for to listen to is actually probably viola. Yeah, viola is probably my favorite instrument too. Like, I'm not necessarily the best at it, but I love like the sound that I get from it. You know, it has the nice like deepness that you know would normally get from a cello, but at the same time you can really access that higher register that you could a violin. I mean, not maybe not as high as a violin or as easily, but like you have that ability, that flexibility, and the tone just sounds nice. Like I love playing viola in my own tracks because like it just gives such a warm tone, you know. For me, one of my goals with my music was always to connect with people and to like make an impact in people's lives. So, um, regardless if I end up doing music professionally as a career, um, I know I'll always be doing it, and I'll always be trying to use it to really connect with my audience. You know, like convey like my thoughts, my emotions, my feelings with other people, and hopefully bring that out in them as well, and really just give hope to the next generation and really inspire people. A lot of my songs are like actually they're secular, so they're not like religious technically, but most of my songs they do have like a Christian background to it because for me like Christianity is so like ingrained into my lifestyle that like I don't know. I'm basically living my religion, you know, and I think it really comes through my music too, because there's a lot of like underlying messages within my songs. For example, "Dear Future Wife," you know that's like I guess that's enough to be considered a Christian song, but um, a lot of like my values are really in that song, just as Christianity values are like really ingrained in my life. So I really hope to impact the world like through my music, through channeling my ideals and my thoughts into these songs, and using my songs as like a venue kind of thing to bring those stuff to other people.